The royal decree arrives at dawn, sealed in blood and bound by pack law, but I'm already falling. My twin sister Moira's hands are still warm on my back where she pushed, her whispered words chasing me down through the freezing air. You were never supposed to exist. The tower stones blur past my vision as I plummet toward the ravine below, and all I can think is that she doesn't know. Nobody knows. The forbidden bloodline growing inside me, the Alpha King's heir, will die with me on these rocks, and the kingdom of Ailsa will tear itself apart in civil war. But I don't die. If you're feeling this story in your soul right now, tell me the city you're watching from so I can send you a hug. You're not alone in loving stories about women who refuse to stay broken. My body crashes through branches that slow my fall just enough. I hit the river with a force that drives the air from my lungs, and the icy water swallows me whole. My wolf surges forward, desperate to save us both, saves us all three, and I manage one gasping breath before the current drags me under. The last thing I see before darkness takes me is the palace tower silhouetted against the rising sun, and Moira's figure watching from the window where she murdered me. Where she tried to murder me. I wake 3 days later in a shepherd's cottage, fever-mad and delirious, my hands instinctively clutching my stomach. An old woman named Grizzle sits beside my bed, her weathered face creased with concern. Easy, lass, she murmurs. You've been calling out in your sleep. Names I shouldn't hear. Secrets that could get us both killed. I try to speak but my throat is raw. Grizzle brings me water, helps me sit up, and I realize with dawning horror that I'm wearing different clothes. She's seen the bruises. She's seen everything. The Baron still lives, she says quietly. I'm a midwife, child. I know the signs. And I know those marks on your wrist. The Alpha King's blood oath. What in the name of the old gods were you doing with Caelan Drummond? Hearing his name spoken aloud fractures something inside me. Caelan. The Alpha King who wasn't supposed to want me. Who broke every law of our people when he claimed me in secret 6 weeks ago, binding us with the ancient blood oath that predates the kingdom itself. My twin sister was supposed to be his chosen queen. Beautiful, perfect Moira with her silver tongue and political cunning. Not me, Eilidh, the spare daughter, the shadow twin, the one our father barely acknowledged existed. But Caelan had looked at me differently during the selection ceremony. Had found me in the gardens that night when I was trying to escape the suffocating weight of palace politics. Had told me that pack law be damned. His wolf had chosen me, and nothing, not treaties or traditions or royal decrees, would change that. We'd had 6 stolen nights together before the council discovered us. 6 nights where he'd whispered promises against my skin, where he'd marked me with a blood oath that would tie our souls together forever, where we'd created the impossible thing now growing inside me. Heir. The first true heir born from the old blood in 3 generations. And then they'd locked me in the tower while they decided my fate. I'd assumed Moira was coming to help me escape. We were twins. We'd shared everything since birth. One soul split between 2 bodies, our mother used to say before the fever took her. Moira had held my hand through every childhood terror, every scraped knee, every broken heart. When I'd confessed about Caelan, tears streaming down my face, she'd embraced me. Promised to fix it. Sworn she'd find a way. Instead, she'd climbed those tower stairs at dawn, embraced me one final time and pushed. You were never supposed to exist, she'd said, and I'd understood in that crystalline moment before I fell. She hadn't meant my birth. She'd meant my life with Caelan, my claim to the throne, the child that would make me queen instead of her. Grizzle is watching me with ancient, knowing eyes. The kingdom thinks you're dead, lass. There was a funeral 3 days past. Your sister wept beautifully, they say. Blamed it on your fragile mind. Said you'd thrown yourself from the tower in despair over losing the king's favor to her. My hands curl into fists. Where is Caelan? Being coronated tomorrow alongside his chosen queen. Your sister, Moira of House Lennox. Grizzle's voice carries careful neutrality, but I see the judgment in her eyes. The blood oath you share. Does he know about the bairn? No. The word tastes like ash. We'd been discovered before I could tell him. The council had separated us immediately, threatening execution if he tried to see me. I'd been imprisoned while they deliberated whether to annul the blood oath, an act so forbidden it required unanimous approval from all 7 great houses. And while they'd argued about laws and precedent and political alliances, Moira had taken matters into her own hands. Then you have a choice before you, Grizzle says. Stay dead and raise the heir in secret, or rise from the grave and claim what's yours. But know this, the moment you reveal yourself, you paint a target on that child's back. Every house that opposed your union will want the bairn dead. Even your own kin. Especially my own kin, I whisper. My father, Lord Alastair of House Lennox, had built his power on strategic marriages and careful alliances. A bastard daughter falling in love with the Alpha King had destroyed years of planning. He'd probably helped Moira engineer my death. I close my eyes and feel for the bond that ties me to Kaelin, the blood oath that's supposed to let mates sense each other across any distance. But there's only silence. Either he thinks I'm truly dead and has closed himself off from the pain, or Moira has found a way to block our connection. Ancient magic exists for such purposes. Dark rituals that cost dearly but can sever even the strongest bonds. If he can't feel me, he doesn't know I survived. Doesn't know about the child. Might genuinely believe he's free to marry my sister. Unless part of him knows the truth but has chosen power over love. Chosen political stability over the chaos our union would bring. I open my eyes and meet Grizzle's steady gaze. How long do I have before the coronation? 20 hours. Maybe less. The ceremony begins at sunset tomorrow. The blood moon rises then, which makes the marriage binding under pack law. Once they're crowned together under that moon, no force in this kingdom can break their union without civil war. Then I have 20 hours to decide whether to let my twin sister steal my life, or destroy the fragile peace of an entire kingdom. I push myself up, ignoring the screaming pain in my ribs. What would you do? Grizzle considers this for a long moment. I'd ask myself what kind of world I want that bairn born into. One built on lies and murder. Or one where the truth matters, even when it costs everything. She's right and we both know it. But truth is a luxury I'm not sure I can afford. I spend the next few hours healing, letting my wolf's supernatural recovery work through the worst of my injuries. Grizzle brings me food and tells me news from the capital. How the kingdom mourns the tragic Princess Eilidh. How Alpha King Kaelin has withdrawn into cold formality. How my sister Moira plays her role of grieving twin with perfect precision. People love her. They see her as the strong one, the survivor, the princess who will heal the king's broken heart. None of them know she's the one who broke it. As evening falls, Grizzle reveals something that changes everything. There's a man been asking questions in the village. Came through 2 days ago looking for survivors from the river. Said he serves the king's personal guard. Finian is his name. Tall lad, scar across his jaw, loyal to a fault. Finian, Kaelin's closest friend and sworn shield brother. If anyone would believe me, it's him. But trusting anyone right now feels impossible. What if Moira has turned him too? What if this is a trap to draw me out and finish what she started? Where is he now? Yes. The Rusty Blade Tavern in Dalmore, 3 miles north. He's been drinking there each night, drowning something that looks a lot like guilt. Grizzle's expression softens. I think your king has men out searching for your body, lass. Men who aren't satisfied with the official story. Hope flares in my chest, dangerous and painful. Then he doesn't believe I jumped. Or he can't forgive himself for letting you die either way. She squeezes my hand. But there's something else you should know. Your sister visited the temple yesterday. Made an offering to the old gods and requested a blood binding ceremony. My stomach drops. What kind of blood binding? The kind that severs previous oaths. Requires fresh blood from both parties and an offering of equal value. Grizzle's voice drops to barely a whisper. She's trying to break your bond with the king before the coronation. And rumor says she brought something precious for the offering. A silver comb carved with moon lilies. Your mother's comb. Rage floods through me so violently that my wolf surges forward, golden eyes blazing in the darkened cottage. That comb was the only thing I had left of our mother. Moira knew I kept it in a secret compartment in my tower room. She must have taken it when she came to kill me, knowing she'd need it for the ritual. She's thought of everything. I need to get to that tavern, I say, forcing my wolf back down. Tonight. Grizzle nods grimly. I'll pack you provisions. But Eilidh, once you step onto this path, there's no turning back. You'll be hunted by your own family, questioned by the council, forced to prove your child's parentage before the entire kingdom. Are you prepared for that? Am I? I press my hand against my still flat stomach, feeling the flutter of new life. Impossible, precious, dangerous. This child is the true heir to the throne by every law that matters. Born from the blood oath. Born from love, not politics. In 3 months, when I start showing, the truth will come out anyway. Better to control how and when it's revealed. My sister tried to murder me and steal my mate, I say quietly. She's using my mother's memory to erase me from existence. I'm done hiding. The journey to Dalmore takes 4 hours through forests I once knew like the back of my hand. My wolf guides me through the darkness, her senses sharp for any pursuit. Every shadow makes me flinch. Every snapping branch sounds like guards closing in. But the forest remains empty except for the usual night creatures, and I realize that Moira must feel very confident in my death. She's not even bothering to post watches on the roads. Her mistake. The Rusty Blade is exactly as Grizzle described. A rough establishment catering to travelers and mercenaries, the kind of place where asking too many questions gets you a knife in the ribs. I slip through the back entrance, hood drawn low, and scan the crowded room for Finian. I find him at a corner table, nursing what's clearly not his first drink of the evening. He looks terrible, dark circles under his eyes, his usually pristine guard uniform rumpled and stained. But it's the expression on his face that confirms what Grizzle suspected. This is a man drowning in guilt. I slide into the seat across from him before he can react. Hello, Finian. He goes completely still, his hand moving instinctively to the blade at his hip. Then he sees my face under the hood and the tankard slips from his fingers, clattering across the table. Merciful gods. Eilidh. Keep your voice down, I hiss, glancing around. But the tavern noise provides cover, and nobody's paying attention to us. Yes, it's me. I survived. But the tower, the river, we searched for days. He's staring at me like I'm a ghost, and maybe I am. Maybe the girl who climbed that tower 6 days ago died when she hit the water, and something harder emerged. Does the king know? No. And he can't know. Not yet. I lean forward urgently. Finian, I need you to tell me the truth. Does Kaelin believe I jumped, or does he know I was pushed? Something shudders in Finian's expression. What makes you think he'd know the difference? Because he knows my sister. We all grew up together in the capital. You, me, Moira, Kaelin. He knows what she's capable of when she wants something badly enough. Pause, then play my dangerous card. And he knows she's wanted him since we were 16 years old. Long before the selection ceremony. Long before I ever caught his attention. Finian's jaw tightens. The king has been unstable since your death. The blood oath is tearing him apart. He says he can feel you sometimes like phantom pains, but then it fades away. The council convinced him it's grief madness. That blood oaths sometimes echo after death, making the surviving mate think they sense the other. He looks down at his hands. He wanted to call off the coronation entirely. Wanted to step down and let someone else take the throne. Your sister talked him out of it. Of course she did. Bitterness floods my voice. What did she say? That you'd want him to be strong. That you'd sacrificed yourself because you couldn't bear to see the kingdom torn apart by civil war over your forbidden union. That the greatest way to honor your memory would be to give the people the stability they need. A strong king with a suitable queen. Finian meets my eyes. She's very convincing, Eilidh. The entire court believes her. Even I started to believe her until... Until what? He hesitates, then reaches into his jacket and pulls out a folded piece of parchment. I found this in your tower room. Hidden in that loose stone by the window, the one you used as a child to hide sweets from the governess. A sad smile crosses his face. You forget I was there for that particular scandal. I take the parchment with trembling hands and unfold it. It's a letter in my own handwriting, written the night before Moira pushed me. Dearest Kaelin, if you're reading this, something has gone terribly wrong. I'm writing to you from the tower where they've imprisoned me, and I'm afraid. Not of the council's judgment. I knew the risks when I accepted your blood oath. I'm afraid of the person who visits me each evening with promises of rescue. My twin sister Moira has been meeting with someone in secret. I've seen them through the tower window. She thinks I can't identify him from this distance, but I recognize Father's chief advisor, Domhnall. They're planning something, and every instinct I have screams danger. I wanted to tell you before they separated us, but there was no time. The child I carry is yours, Kaelin. Heir. I'm 6 weeks along, confirmed by the palace healer before they locked me away. This changes everything. The council can't annul a blood oath that's already produced an heir. Pack law is absolute on this. But someone doesn't want this child to exist. Someone would rather see me dead than see our bloodline continue. Trust Finian. Trust no one else. And if something happens to me, know that I loved you beyond reason, beyond law, beyond the boundaries of this world. Our child will carry that love forward even if I cannot. Forever yours, Eilidh. P.S. I've hidden Mother's silver comb in my jewelry box, wrapped in blue silk. Keep it safe for our daughter. I have a feeling she'll favor you with your dark hair, but she'll have my mother's spirit. She'll need that comb when she's old enough to understand. The letter falls from my numb fingers. You found this. You know I didn't jump. You know. I know your sister is a murderer, Finian says flatly. I know she's been manipulating the king while he grieves. And I know that silver comb went missing from your jewelry box the same day you died. His hand covers mine across the table. But Eilidh, what am I supposed to do with this knowledge? March into the palace and accuse the future queen of murder based on a letter that could have been written by anyone. Your sister will claim you wrote it in madness, trying to poison everyone against her even in death. He's right. My own words aren't enough. I need proof, witnesses, something concrete that even the council can't dismiss. What about the palace healer? The one who confirmed my pregnancy? Finian's expression goes dark. Dead. Fell down a flight of stairs 2 days after your funeral. Broke her neck. Ruled an accident. Course. Moira has been thorough, eliminating every thread that might unravel her lies. And Domhnall, the advisor she was meeting with, promoted to Master of Coin yesterday. Your sister's first official act as queen-to-be, rewarding her most loyal supporters with positions of power. Finian leans back, exhaustion written into every line of his face. She's been planning this for months, Eilidh. Maybe longer. Everything is falling into place for her like clockwork. Not everything. I press my hand protectively over my stomach. She doesn't know I survived. Doesn't know the heir lives. That's our advantage. Our advantage. Finian looks at me sharply. What exactly are you planning? What am I planning? 20 hours until the coronation. 20 hours until my mate, the father of my child, marries my murderous twin sister under the blood moon, binding them in a union that pack law says cannot be broken. 20 hours to somehow prove the truth, reclaim my life, and save my kingdom from a queen who's willing to kill her own blood. It's impossible. But I've already survived the impossible once this week. I'm going to that coronation, I say. I'm going to walk into the throne room where everyone thinks I'm dead, look my sister in the eyes, and watch her perfect plan crumble to dust. Finian stares at me for a long moment, then laughs, a harsh, desperate sound. They'll call you a ghost, shapeshifter, an imposter sent to disrupt the ceremony. Your own father will denounce you. Let them. I'll submit to every test the council can devise. Blood magic, truth spells, pack bond verification. I'll prove I'm Eilidh of House Lennox, true mate to the Alpha King, carrier of his heir. I meet Finian's gaze steadily. Will you stand with me when I do? You're asking me to commit treason against my future queen. I'm asking you to serve your true king and honor the oath you swore to protect the rightful heir to the throne. Even if that heir is currently the size of an acorn and living in my womb. Soften my voice. You were my friend once, Finian. Before all of this political madness. Do you really believe I threw myself from that tower? He's quiet for so long I think he'll refuse. Then he reaches across the table and clasps my arm in the warrior's grip, the gesture of absolute loyalty. I'll stand with you, whatever comes. A grim smile crosses his face. Though I should tell you, if we survive this, Kaelin is going to be absolutely furious with me for not bringing you straight to him the moment I verified you were alive. We'll deal with his fury after we stop my sister from stealing his throne. I return the grip, feeling strength flow between us. An ally. Finally, I'm not alone in this. Now, tell me everything about the coronation ceremony. Every detail. Every security measure. Every possible weakness we can exploit. Finian signals for 2 more drinks and begins to talk. He tells me about the ceremony structure, the sacred oaths that must be spoken, the blood moon ritual that binds king and queen, the witnesses from all 7 great houses who'll be present. He tells me about the security, how every entrance will be guarded, how only those with official invitations will be admitted. He tells me about the throne room layout, the positioning of the council members, where Kaelin and Moira will stand during the ritual. And as he talks, a plan begins to form in my mind. Dangerous, audacious, possibly suicidal. But it might work. Has to work. There's one part of the ceremony that's non-negotiable, Finian says. The blood oath renewal. At the height of the blood moon, Kaelin and Moira will each cut their palms and bind their blood together while speaking the sacred vows. Once that's done, they're legally mated in the eyes of pack law and the old gods. But Kaelin already has a blood oath, I point out. With me. Can he even form a second one while the first still exists? That's the question, isn't it? Finian looks troubled. Technically, no. A blood oath is eternal. It survives even death, binding the souls across lifetimes. But your sister commissioned that ritual at the temple. If she successfully severed your bond before the ceremony, he trails off meaningfully. Then he'd be free to bind himself to her, and I'd have no claim. Horror washes through me. When does that ritual take effect? At moonrise tomorrow. Which happens to be exactly when the coronation begins. Finian's expression is grim. She's timed it perfectly. The moment your bond breaks, she'll forge a new one with Kaelin before he even realizes what's happened. Unless I interrupt the ritual. I lean forward urgently. Can it be stopped once it starts? Only by the person being severed, the one whose blood was used for the original oath. But Eilidh, that means you'd have to be physically present at the temple during the ritual. And Moira will have guards everywhere. The moment she sees you, she'll know her plan failed and she'll have me killed on sight. I finish grimly. Or she'll try to anyway. She already failed once. We spend the next hours planning in careful detail. Finian will return to the capital and resume his duties as if nothing has changed, maintaining his position in Kaelin's inner guard. I'll travel separately, using back roads and disguises to avoid detection. At moonrise, while the kingdom gathers for the coronation, I'll make my way to the temple where Moira's ritual is taking place. If I can disrupt it before the bond breaks completely, I might buy enough time to reach the throne room and reveal the truth before the coronation concludes. It's a desperate gambit with 1,000 ways to fail. But it's all I have. As we're preparing to part ways, Finian grabs my arm one final time. Eilidh, there's something else you should know. About Kaelin. He hesitates, choosing his words carefully. He's been having nightmares since you died. Screaming fits where he relives your fall over and over. The palace healers think it's grief-induced madness, but... He pauses. What if it's not madness? What if the blood oath is showing him the truth? That you were pushed, not jumped? What if some part of him already knows his mate was murdered? The possibility makes my breath catch. Can the oath do that? The old texts say a blood oath connects souls at the deepest level. That true mates can sense each other's pain, fear, and death. Finian's grip tightens. If you died believing your sister betrayed you, and Kaelin experienced those final moments through your bond. He knows Eilidh. Maybe not consciously, but his soul knows. Then why is he going through with the coronation? Because a kingdom can't run on grief and suspicion. 'Cause he has no proof. Because everyone he trusts is telling him to move forward. Finian releases my arm. But when you walk into that throne room alive, when he sees you carrying his child, that's going to break something in him. Be prepared for that. I nod slowly, understanding. Kaelin is going to be furious. With me for not coming to him immediately. With Finian for keeping my survival secret. With himself for doubting the bond. But underneath the fury will be relief so powerful it might destroy him. And we'll have to navigate all of that while my sister watches her perfect plans disintegrate and my father schemes to protect his political investments. This is going to be a bloodbath. I'll see you at the coronation, I tell Finian. One way or another. Try not to die again before then, he says dryly. Once was traumatic enough. I slip out of the tavern into the pre-dawn darkness and begin the long journey back to the capital. Back to the palace where I was raised, where I fell in love, where my twin sister betrayed me. My wolf runs strong beneath my skin, protecting the precious life we're carrying, and I let her fierce joy fill me. Moira thinks she won. She thinks she erased me, claimed my mate, secured her throne. She's going to learn what it means to cross someone who's already died once and decided to come back angry. The next 18 hours pass in a blur of careful travel and desperate planning. I steal clothes from a merchant's cart, transforming myself from bedraggled refugee into respectable traveler. I braid my hair in the northern style Moira never learned, making myself look different enough that casual observers won't immediately recognize me. I practice the words I'll say when I finally stand before the court, words that will prove my identity and condemn my sister in one breath. As sunset approaches and I finally reach the capital city of Dalriada, my heart is hammering against my ribs. The streets are packed with celebrating citizens, all dressed in their finest for the historic coronation. Banners hang from every building proclaiming, "Long live King Kaelin and Queen Moira," and musicians play festive songs on every corner. The joy feels like a knife twisting in my chest. They're celebrating my murder. I make my way through the crowds toward the ancient temple where the pre-coronation rituals will be held. Security is tight, but Finian has left me the access pass he promised, a small bronze medallion that marks me as palace staff. The guards barely glance at it before waving me through, too focused on watching for actual threats to notice one more servant. The temple is a massive structure of dark stone carved with ancient pack symbols. Inside, the air smells of incense and old magic. I slip through shadowed corridors until I hear voices ahead. My sister's voice, pitched in the commanding tone she uses when she wants something. "Are you certain the ritual will hold?" she's asking someone. I can't afford any mistakes tonight. The blood oath severance is complex magic, my lady, but I've performed it successfully many times. The responding voice is male, old, carrying the weight of someone who deals in dark arts. As long as you've provided genuine blood from your sister and an offering of equal emotional value, the bond will break cleanly at moonrise. The Alpha King will never know he was bound to another. And the child? Moira's voice drops to barely a whisper. If by some impossible chance Eilidh survived the fall, and the child survived with her, could they ever prove paternity? Not once the bond is severed. The blood connection will be gone, erased as if it never existed. Any child claiming to be the king's heir would have no magical proof, only their word. The old man chuckles darkly. You've thought of everything, my lady. Your sister chose the wrong twin to cross. I have to physically restrain myself from storming into that room and strangling my sister with my bare hands. Instead, I force myself to breathe, to think, to plan. The ritual hasn't started yet. I still have time. I peer around the corner and see them. Moira dressed in ceremonial white, looking every inch the perfect queen to be. The old sorcerer beside her is preparing the ritual space, drawing symbols in what looks like blood on the temple floor. And there, on the altar between them, is my mother's silver comb and a small vial containing what must be my blood. She took it from me before she pushed me. Planned even that detail in advance. When do we begin? Moira asks impatiently. The moon rises in 10 minutes, my lady. Once it breaks the horizon, I'll activate the severance. You should return to the palace. You don't want to be late for your own coronation. He smiles obsequiously. And might I say, the kingdom is fortunate to have someone of your decisive nature on the throne. Yes, Moira agrees. They are. She turns to leave, and I press myself back into the shadows, letting her pass within inches of me. My sister walks by smelling of roses and lies, humming something that sounds like a wedding march. Every instinct screams to confront her now, to reveal myself and watch her face as she realizes her murder failed. But timing is everything. Let her think she's won. Let her get comfortable. Let her stand before the entire court and begin speaking those sacred vows. And then I'll destroy her. The moment Moira disappears down the corridor, I step out of the shadows. The old sorcerer looks up, startled. Who are you? This is a private ritual. I'm the woman whose blood you're about to use for illegal magic, I say calmly, walking toward him. And I'm here to stop you. He gapes at me, and I see the exact moment recognition hits. Impossible. You're dead. The princess is dead. Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. I grab the vial of my blood from the altar before he can react. This ritual ends now. You can't, the magic is already prepared. If I don't complete it properly, the backlash could. Could what? Challenge. Kill me. I've already survived that once this week. Try again. But his expression has gone from shocked to calculating. You're the other twin. The one who should have been queen. Lady Moira said you were dead, but she lied. He starts backing toward another doorway. The council will want to know about this. They'll want to verify. He doesn't get to finish the threat. My wolf surges forward, faster than human speed, and I have him pinned against the wall with one hand around his throat before he can cry out. Listen carefully, I growl, letting my eyes flash gold. You have two choices. Walk away from this ritual and forget you ever saw me, or I'll demonstrate exactly how fierce a mother wolf can be when someone threatens her child. His eyes widen as understanding hits. The heir lives. By all the old gods, the heir lives. And if you tell anyone, if you whisper one word of this to my sister or my father or anyone else, I will find you. I lean in close. I've already died once and come back. Don't make me add murder to my list of recent experiences. He nods frantically and I release him. He scrambles away, robes flapping, and I hear him running down the corridor toward the exit. Probably going straight to Moira to warn her. Which gives me maybe 5 minutes before all hell breaks loose. I turn to the ritual circle on the floor. The blood symbols are glowing faintly, responding to the rising moon. If I let this magic activate, even without the sorcerer to guide it, it might complete the severance automatically. I need to disrupt it completely. I grab my mother's silver comb from the altar, the offering Moira was using to power the spell. The moment my fingers touch it, I feel a surge of warmth, like my mother's hand squeezing mine. This comb has been in our family for 6 generations, passed from mother to daughter, blessed with protective magic that most people have forgotten exists. Moira chose poorly when she tried to use it for dark magic. I break the comb in half, feeling the protective wards shatter and release their stored energy. The ritual circle flares bright white, then goes dark, symbols dissolving into ash. The magic collapses with a sound like thunder, and I feel the blood oath in my chest pulse strongly for the first time since I fell from the tower. Kaelin, He'll feel that. He'll know something just happened to the bond. Which means I'm out of time. Run. The palace is a 15-minute sprint from the temple, and I make it in 10, my wolf lending me supernatural speed. The streets are nearly empty now. Everyone's already inside for the ceremony. The celebration of my sister stealing everything I loved. Palace guards try to stop me at the entrance, but I flash Finian's medallion and claim I'm late for serving duties. They let me through with barely a glance, too focused on watching for external threats. No one expects danger from a single woman in servant's clothes. I hear the ceremony before I see it, the sound of hundreds of people gathered in the throne room, their voices raised in the traditional coronation songs. I slip through a servant's entrance and find myself on a balcony overlooking the main hall. The view takes my breath away. The throne room has been transformed into something from ancient legend. Hundreds of candles cast flickering light on the assembled nobility, all 7 great houses represented, their banners hanging from the vaulted ceiling. The Council of Elders sits in positions of honor, their ceremonial robes marking them as arbiters of pack law. And there, at the center of it all, standing before the twin thrones of Ailsa, Kaelin, Mimi, the father of my child, the man I thought I'd never see again. He's dressed in the traditional black and silver of the Alpha King, his dark hair bound back in warrior braids, his expression carved from stone. He looks older than I remember, harder, like something vital has been carved out of him. As I watch, he presses a hand briefly over his heart, over the place where our blood oath should be burning, and frowns. He felt the ritual break. He knows something happened. Beside him stands Moira, resplendent in white and gold, her face the perfect mask of regal serenity. She's smiling at the crowd, accepting their adoration, playing the role she's always wanted. The princess who became queen. The sister who survived tragedy and grew strong. The murderer who's about to get exactly what she deserves. The high priest of the old gods steps forward, his voice carrying through the massive hall. We gather tonight under the sacred blood moon to witness the binding of our Alpha King to his chosen queen. Let any who would speak against this union come forward now, or forever hold their peace. The ceremonial challenge. The one moment where objections are permitted. This is it. This is my moment. I step up to the balcony railing, letting the candlelight catch me, and speak in a voice that carries through the sudden silence. I speak against this union. Every head in the throne room turns toward me. I see shock, confusion, disbelief rippling through the crowd. And then I see Kaelin's face as recognition hits him like a physical blow. His knees buckle. Finian, standing at his right hand, catches him before he falls. But it's my sister's expression that I'll remember forever. Moira stares up at me, and I watch every emotion flash across her face in the span of heartbeats. Shock, disbelief, terror, rage, and finally calculation. Even now, even caught in her lies, she's planning her next move. Guards! My father's voice booms from the council seats. Lord Alastair of House Lennox rises, pointing at me with shaking hand. Seize that impostor! How dare you interrupt sacred ceremony with this? This mockery of my dead daughter. I'm not a mockery, father, I call down, my voice steady despite my racing heart. I'm your daughter Eilidh, returned from the grave where my twin sister tried to bury me. And I claim my place as true mate to the Alpha King and carrier of his heir. The throne room explodes into chaos. People are shouting, crying, demanding answers. The guards start moving toward the balcony stairs, but Kaelin's voice cuts through the noise like a blade. Stop! Everyone freezes. The Alpha King's command voice, the power that makes every wolf in the kingdom instinctively obey, rolls through the room. Kaelin is staring at me with an expression I can't read, one hand still pressed over his heart where our bond is now blazing strong enough to hurt. Everyone out, he says quietly. Except the council, the house lords, and... His voice cracks slightly. And my mate. Moira opens her mouth to protest, but Kaelin's expression stops her. That wasn't a request, Moira. Everyone else leaves. Now. The throne room clears slowly, reluctantly, Hundreds of witnesses forced to wait outside while the most powerful people in the kingdom remain to determine what's truth and what's deception. I descend from the balcony on shaking legs, aware of every eye tracking my movement. Finian meets me at the base of the stairs, and I see relief and worry warring on his face. "Well," he murmurs. "That was subtle." "Subtlety wasn't going to save my life this time," I murmur back. We walk together toward the center of the throne room, toward Kaelin, and I'm vividly aware of how I must look, travel-stained, bruised, my borrowed clothes hanging loose on my thinner frame. Not the princess they remember. Certainly not the queen they expected. But I hold my head high as I approach, because I am still Eilidh of House Lennox, true mate to the Alpha King, and I will not apologize for refusing to stay dead. Kaelin hasn't moved. He's frozen between me and Moira. His body angled toward me but his eyes flickering between us both, like he can't quite process what's happening. When I get close enough to touch, he flinches back. "Don't," he says hoarsely. "Don't come closer. Not yet. I can feel you through the bond. I can feel you so strongly it's like you're burning inside my chest. But that's impossible. You're dead. I felt you die. You felt me fall," I correct gently. "And yes, I almost died. My twin sister pushed me from the palace tower 6 days ago, hoping to eliminate her competition for the throne. But I survived." I hold out my wrist, showing him the scar from our blood oath, a silver mark that only true mates carry. "I've come home to claim what's mine." Moira moves then, stepping forward with her hands raised in shocked dismay. "Eilidh, is it really you?" "Oh gods, I thought. She's doing a masterful job of playing the overwhelmed twin, tears gathering in her eyes. "How is this possible? We found your body in the river." "No, you didn't," I interrupt coldly. "You found nothing because you never bothered to look. You assumed I died and immediately moved to take my place. That's not fair." Moira's voice breaks convincingly. "I was devastated. We all were. Father, tell her." "Silence." Lord Alastair's voice cracks like a whip. He's staring at me with an expression I can't quite read. Is that relief? Fear? This situation requires proper verification. We cannot simply accept that any woman claiming to be Eilidh is genuine. The stakes are too high. "I agree completely," says Lord Tavish of House Cameron, one of the council elders. He's ancient, shrewd, and notoriously difficult to deceive. "We must conduct proper tests. Blood magic, truth spells, every verification the old laws permit." "Do all of them," I say firmly. "Test my blood, my memories, my bond to the king. I'll submit to whatever you require." I turn to face the council directly. "But before we begin, I think my sister should explain something. Where is the old sorcerer she hired to break my blood oath to Kaelin? The one who was conducting an illegal ritual at the temple just as moonrise began." Moira's face goes pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Really? 'Cause I just came from that temple. I spoke with the man you commissioned to sever my connection to Kaelin, using my blood that you collected before pushing me from that tower." I pull the vial from my pocket and hold it up. "This blood. Still warm from the spell you interrupted when I broke your ritual." Dead silence falls over the throne room. I see Lord Tavish exchange looks with the other council members, and several of them go very still. "Blood oath severance is forbidden magic," Lord Tavish says slowly. "Punishable by death. Are you accusing your twin sister of not only murder, but also practicing the dark arts?" "I'm stating facts," I reply. "Facts that can be verified. Send guards to the temple right now. You'll find the ritual circle, the spell components, and if you're lucky, the sorcerer himself." I turn to Moira. "Unless you already killed him to hide the evidence. That would be consistent with your methods." "Stop it." Moira's tears are flowing freely now. "Stop saying these horrible things. I loved you, I mourned you, I would never." She turns to Kaelin desperately. "My lord, you can't believe I'd hurt my own twin. We shared a womb. We're part of each other's souls. This is madness. She's clearly been driven mad by whatever trauma. Then explain the letter, Finian interrupts, pulling out the parchment I'd written from my tower prison. The one Eilidh wrote before you pushed her, warning us about your secret meetings with Domhnall. The one where she revealed she was carrying the king's heir, a fact verified by the palace healer who conveniently died 2 days after Eilidh's supposed suicide. Lord Tavish takes the letter, reads it quickly, and his expression hardens. This is Lady Eilidh's handwriting. I'd recognize it anywhere. I taught both twins their letters as children. He looks at Moira. Do you deny meeting with Domhnall in secret? I met with him about trade negotiations. There was nothing sinister. Trade negotiations that resulted in his immediate promotion to Master of Coin? Tavish's voice is sharp. Interesting timing, Lady Moira. The council is turning against her. I can see it happening. Doubt spreading through them like poison, the perfect story she'd constructed beginning to crack. But Moira has always been clever under pressure. Even if everything my sister claims is true, she says, voice steady now, tears vanished. Even if I did push her, which I absolutely did not, how can she prove the child she claims to carry is the king's? She could have been with anyone in the weeks she was imprisoned. She could have gotten pregnant after she survived the fall. There's no way to verify. Actually, there is. Kaelan speaks for the first time since I revealed myself. His voice rough. The blood oath. If Eilidh carries my child, my heir, I'll be able to sense it through our bond. It's one of the fundamental properties of a true mating, the ability to recognize our own bloodline. He finally looks directly at me, and the devastation in his eyes makes my breath catch. May I? He asks quietly, gesturing toward my stomach. I nod, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Kaelan crosses the space between us, moving carefully like I might disappear if he moves too fast. When he's close enough to touch, he hesitates, then slowly extends his hand toward my stomach. The moment his palm makes contact, his entire body goes rigid. Oh gods, he breathes. Oh gods, Eilidh. The bond between us explodes into full life, stronger than it's ever been, and through it I feel everything he's feeling. Relief, rage, joy, devastation, love so fierce it borders on violence. He falls to his knees before me, both hands now pressed against my stomach where our child grows. I felt you die, he says, voice breaking. I felt you fall and I couldn't save you. They wouldn't let me leave this palace. They said I was too unstable, that I'd make things worse, that the kingdom needed me here. So I stayed while you drowned in that river. I stayed and I failed you. You didn't fail me, I say through my own tears, running my fingers through his hair. You didn't know. None of us knew what Moira was capable of. I should have known. He looks up at me, fury and anguish mixing in his expression. She's been jealous of you since we were children. Every time I showed you attention instead of her, I saw the way she looked at you. I should have protected you better. Should have kept you safe. You're keeping us safe now, I interrupt, covering his hands with mine. The child lives, Kaelan. Your heir lives. That's all that matters. Behind us, I hear Moira make a small, desperate sound. I turn to see her backing away, her perfect mask finally cracking completely. No, she whispers. No, this isn't how this was supposed to go. Planned everything. Every detail. You were supposed to die. Moira, stop talking. Our father hisses urgently. But Moira is beyond caring now, beyond calculation. She's finally showing us who she really is beneath all the pretty lies. Do you know what it's like? She demands, looking at me with pure hatred. Being the prettier twin, the smarter twin, the one father actually wanted to keep and still coming in second. Kaelan looked at me first during the selection ceremony. Me. And then you walked into the room and suddenly I was invisible again. Just like every other time. So you decided to kill me? Ask incredulously. Murder your own sister because a man looked at her? I decided to take what should have been mine from the beginning. Moira's voice rises to a near scream. The throne was supposed to be mine. The king was supposed to be mine. Everything was mine until you ruined it by existing. Guards, Lord Tavish says quietly. Arrest Lady Moira of House Lennox on charges of attempted murder, blood magic manipulation, and treason against the crown. As guards move forward to seize my twin sister, Moira lunges. Not toward me, toward Kaelin. She has a blade I didn't see her draw, and she's aiming for his unprotected back with the desperation of someone with nothing left to lose. No! I shove Kaelin aside, putting myself between him and the blade. But Finian is faster. His sword intercepts Moira's strike with a clash of steel that echoes through the throne room. He disarms her with brutal efficiency, and she falls to her knees, finally defeated. Take her to the dungeons, Tavish orders, and search them both thoroughly for any additional weapons. He turns to my father, who's gone completely grey. Lord Alastair, did you have knowledge of your daughter's plans? I know. I swear by the old gods, I knew nothing of this. But he won't meet anyone's eyes, and I wonder what he did know. What he chose not to see because it was politically convenient. As guards drag Moira away, screaming threats and promises of revenge, I finally let myself collapse. My legs give out, exhaustion and emotional overload hitting me all at once. Kaelin catches me before I hit the floor, cradling me against his chest. I've got you, he murmurs into my hair. I've got you both. You're safe now. You're home. But I'm not safe. Not really. Because as Lord Tavish and the council begin discussing the legal implications of this disaster, I realize we've averted one crisis only to walk straight into another. The kingdom was gathering tonight to celebrate a coronation, to witness their king take a strong, politically connected queen who would bring stability and alliance. Instead they're getting me. The sister who was locked in a tower. The woman who carries a child conceived in scandal and rebellion against pack law. The mate their king chose over political wisdom. Some of them will accept this. Many won't. And in the dungeons below us, my twin sister is already planning her next move. Because people like Moira don't give up just because they've been caught. They adapt. They wait. They find new ways to destroy what they can't have. This isn't over. It's just beginning. But as I rest my head against Kaelin's chest, feeling our bond blazing strong and true, feeling our child flutter inside me with the first stirrings of life, I know one thing with absolute certainty. I died once already. I survived assassination, betrayal, and a fall that should have killed me. Whatever comes next, whatever battles still wait in the shadows, I'm ready. Because I'm Eilidh of House Lennox, true mate to the Alpha King, mother of the heir to the throne. And I don't stay dead. To be continued.